Guys, what can us girls do to make you feel special? Look, who cares about all the other answers? I'm going to be real with you. So you want to make a guy feel special? Here's what you do. Listen to him. Guys are told all the time to internalize their feelings, and we will often make self-deprecating jokes with a lot of truth behind it. Really listen to him. That stupid joke you made a week ago may have some buried emotions in it that he's been dealing with for years. Second, do not play with his emotions. I get it, guys are usually at the end of the jokes when it comes to infidelity and being dogs. Realize that your actions will hit him and hit him hard. You cheat or entertain another man while you're with him, and it will lead to him having thoughts like, why am I not good enough? And what if I was like this instead? It will lead to self-esteem problems, trust issues, and potentially worse. Instead, if you want to make him feel special, remind him that you are there for him. Remind him that you are a team and that you're in his corner. Stray from this and you can ruin who he is as a man. Lastly, and in my opinion and personal experiences in being a man, understand that communication is a two-way street. Text him randomly in the day to tell him you're thinking about him. Let him be the little spoon and cuddle his back. Remind him of his accomplishments and let him know you're proud of him. Men are the same creatures you are. We need encouragement. We need someone to be there for us when we break down. We need to be able to confide and trust in others. And for anyone wondering, my heart was absolutely broken by my ex. Yes, she cheated, but it was more than that. In the 3 years we dated, I never received a single birthday or Christmas present from her. I never got invited to a spontaneous date she prepared. I never once got told how well I was doing or about how proud she was of me. I never got to open up and have her hold me while I sobbed. Throw in her cheating and it didn't just break my heart, but it also broke me as a man for a long time. I hated myself, my friends, my favorite songs and movies. It led to the hardest confession of my life, which was me standing in front of my bathroom mirror and saying the words, I'm sorry, man. I just don't love you anymore. If you want a man to feel special, you have to show him and remind him daily that he's special to you. Sorry for the rant. Who knew the secret to a man's heart wasn't through his stomach, but through his ears? Listen up, ladies, and you might just figure out the code. Story 2. Make us feel like we're needed. I can't tell you how many relationships have fallen apart because either person is making their significant other feel like they're just a background character in the game of the other's life. When you make us feel wanted or needed, it makes us feel important and we will make more time for you, be 100 times more tolerant of you for your shortcomings, and maybe even make us consider spending the rest of our lives with you. However, you have to be able to commit to this. If you start treating your man like this, he's going to start to expect it whenever you're together with each other. If you just stop, he'll feel like you were just trying to play in his emotions. Speaking from experience. Story 3. I fell asleep on the train today and landed my head in a girl's lap. She also had her bag in her lap, who was sitting perpendicular to me. I immediately slurred out an I'm sorry. I distinctly remember her being gorgeous in my groggy state. She made this smile and said it's okay. Okay, that went well, all things considered. I didn't get pepper sprayed or get called gross. I look at the stop we're on in a panic and realize I get off in the next one. I feign going back to sleep and hear her giggle beside me. Get to my stop and don't look back. And that was the highlight of my day. Did an oopsie. She didn't take it personal and even giggled to herself about it. I hate to say this, but she thought he was cute. We could have gotten a number from that. It's entirely possible she slowly pulled his head into her lap because she liked it. Story 4. A lot of people you're addressing here on Reddit are single dudes who want what a relationship would bring. The little things like cuddles and compliments that you should be giving your man regardless because you love him and want him to be happy. What you should be focusing on, if you're in a relationship, are the less thought of things that are still important. Do something thoughtful for him that he might not expect. Does he like cookies? Bake some cookies for you both to share. If you're bad at baking, it's a thought that counts. You did something for him that was fun for you and pleasantly thoughtful for him. Keep your relationship fresh and propose dates or just go for walks. Make him feel good about spending time with you. That, for me, is what would make me feel special. Having my better half try to make me feel wanted and appreciated. Story 5. It's a specific thing, but my boyfriend just turned 40 and is a hardcore Tool fan. For those of you that don't know, Tool just released an album after being off for 13 years. I'm not really a Tool fan, but I listen to it with him because he loves them so much. We were able to get tickets to the upcoming shows in our area, but he messed up trying to get the album, so he wasn't able to get a copy. Anyway, I follow Alex Gray on Facebook, the artist who does the cover art for Tool, and he just happened to post that he had 50 signed copies of the album available. So I swooped in and not only got him a copy of the album, but it was signed by Alex Gray. We went to his compound in upstate New York last year, and it was awesome. I haven't gotten the album in yet, so I made a cute little card with a receipt saying it would be shipped the first weekend in October, and he said time literally stopped when he opened it. He was just floored. I got him something so special, which I didn't even know he would be so excited over it. But I can't wait for it to get here, and hopefully he'll remember his 40th birthday for a very long time. Story 6. People tend to treat other people the way that they want to be treated. Also, every person is different. So if you see how the person treats people that they see as special, that is probably a good guide to how you can make that particular guy, gal, or non-binary pal feel special, since that is exactly what they do to treat someone special. My wife will lose focus and get distracted by people that are special to her. I don't. She'll also stew and think about their problems and come up with clever solutions that she can implement. So if I let myself be distracted by her when I should really be focusing on my stuff, or if I do something that makes her life easier, she feels really special. I carve out time for people that I care about. I listen to them. I give them physical affection and comfort. When anybody does any of those things for me, then I conclude that I am special and it feels nice. Story 7. I've dealt with depression since I was 12. It wasn't until within the last 6 months that I let on to my wife how much I fight through things on a daily basis. I'm 35 years old now and married for 9 years. Why? Because every single person I'd ever talked to about it in my middle and high school years told me to tough it out. That's all I felt I could do. I felt that if I displayed or talked about any of it, I'd be weak or broken. In one of my more recent down periods, my wife and I were making plans and I said I wasn't up for it. And rather than make some excuse, I talked to her about it. And she listened, then said, let's see what we can do about it. And they found some things that actually helped. And now my down periods aren't nearly as bad. So just listen. Offer help. Don't make him feel like anything less than a wonderful human being. And for any guys out there, do the same for your other half. Story 8. Never underestimate the power of a deep, meaningful hug. In my dating days, I met a girl on the internet in a city 4 hours away. After a couple of weeks of online and phone chatting, I drove out there and met her. When we first met face to face, she gave me a hug. That first hug was intimate, meaningful. It felt like I was hugging someone I knew for my entire life. It's hard to describe thoroughly, but it was an intense moment with someone who was basically a stranger. I had long-term girlfriends before, but this was different. I've been married for 11 and a half years, going strong. Story 9. This whole thread is making me feel warm and fuzzy, and reminds me of the time in elementary school when a girl told me I looked like a football player without my glasses. I was stuck between confusion, feeling bad about having glasses, and flattered at the strange comment. No, not middle school, not high school. It was something like the 3rd or 4th grade, and I still remember it. All the comments and hugs, absolutely. Even if I'm not hugging back, if I'm not actively pulling away or telling you to stop, I'm enjoying it. I'm sort of trying to stay single right now, but sometimes when I'm alone at night, instead of falling asleep, playing video games, or even something like watching things, I'll find myself cuddling my blanket and wishing for someone, even though, again, I'm actively avoiding relationships for a variety of reasons. If he's showing interest in you and you want him, don't drop hints. They're hard to understand. And even if we notice, most will be too worried about misunderstanding than to act on them. Express interest directly. Intimate compliments and physical attention, all for how number and start up a conversation. If he still isn't getting it, just tell him outright. We're mostly dumb when it comes to emotional things, so just make everything as direct and obvious as possible. Story 10. If there were that one thing for me, it would be, don't take the little things for granted. What I mean by this is those little things that he did for you all the time that really attracted you to him, chances are if he did it at first, he still does it now. You've grown so used to it that you don't really notice it. Does he randomly clean the house, bring you ice cream every night? Don't let those become things that you just expect him to do, because you start to get annoyed when he doesn't do that. Even if it's not a thing that makes you go, "Aw," anymore, pretend it is occasionally. Make him feel like those things are appreciated and it will go a long way. Source: 7 years of happy marriage, but had issues for a few of those. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button for more videos like this. Story 11. You know what really makes me feel special and appreciated? When someone asks about my hobbies or interests. I'm into game collecting and I love to hear people reminisce about their fond memories of games from the past. I've had maybe 3 conversations that touched on the topic of games that turned into people mentioning a game I have and them saying, "Lucky you. I wish I could play that game again." Those 3 conversations ended with me and a new friend at my place or theirs, playing that game. I hadn't played these games before, but had them in the collection. I got to experience them with people that loved them and shared that with me. So, in short, shared interests are great, but even just asking what ours are and being attentive while we rave about them, that's really nice. Turns out, the fastest way to a gamer's heart isn't through their controller, but through their collection. Show a little interest and you might just unlock a new level of friendship. Story 12. As someone who has been dating for a few years, here's some suggestions. Act like you care that I'm putting in all the effort planning a date, finding a time, initiating things, etc. Just show some level of appreciation for me doing all the work. Or even better, assist in the process instead of just waiting for me to be the person to plan everything. Nothing is more attractive than feeling like someone is interested. Hold your own in a conversation. Rather than just respond to what I'm saying, actually offer something to the conversation. Give compliments. Make me feel like you're interested. I know for many women it's all about the chase, but guess what? I'm not going to chase you if you don't give me the impression you want to be chased. If you aren't interested in going out, stop being so wish-washy and just reject me. Don't play the game where you feign interest and then slowly ghost. It's obvious and just annoying. It also makes me lose respect for you as a person and causes me to lose the attraction I would have had for you anyway. Honestly, after being single for a number of years and going on countless first dates, short relationships, etc., just being honest and showing a little bit of effort would make you better than most women. And I presume this is the same on the other side as well. I hear a lot of my friends or women complain about guys not putting in the effort. I can tell you as a guy who does put in the effort that the frustration of the entire process is cruel. Story 13. I don't know. I don't need to feel special. I want to be me, whatever that is, with no society-attached labels, and be with someone who feels the same. But since I've never had a relationship, I definitely want to have very good communication. Not like commands or demands, but like, let me know what would look good on me, because I'm never going to spontaneously get a sense of style, and if you want the door opened, mention it sometimes. If you ask for something enough, it becomes a habit, and you won't have to ask anymore. And flipping roles makes me feel good, too. Teach me a woman chore that you'd like me to be able to do when you don't feel like it, etc. But I don't know. I'd settle for something mostly physical. Not much social right now due to the trauma-induced personality flaws and some bad behaviors that require a relationship to identify and correct. Story 14. Compliment us. A genuine and specific compliment will stick with us our whole lives. Cherished forever, simply because we receive so few like that. Say you're proud of us for some achievement, even if it's small or that you think we're a good person who did the right thing at some point you remember, or that some specific bit of our appearance is appealing. Generalities like you're handsome are good, but specific stuff will make us feel great. If we are worthy, tell us you trust us, and help us communicate with you how you need. Let us know if you need validation, a listener, or a solution, or whatever it is you need. We're very solution-oriented, so help us be better by reminding us that you may need something else and help us know what it is you need. We're just trying to help. We also tend to be touch-starved. If you're in a relationship with a guy, touch is powerful. We might not need it because it might not be one of our love languages, but if we do, we probably need it a lot. Lol. If we are laconic or reticent, we might just not have anything left to say. Maybe we just want to have some quiet time. So, like, if you ask us how our day was and we just reply with, it was alright. That might literally be all we have to say about our day. Guys, if a girl asks you about your day and you don't have much to say, follow your answer by asking her how her day was. Story 15. Warm physical contact and kind, caring eyes. No need for sexiness or anything. Just having the chance of being in that person's world for a little while makes me feel special like nothing else. Here's my little story of my one night's love. The title sounds way better in Japanese. I've been living in Japan for the last year or so and basically moved to a new city for work every 2 to 3 months. I also speak fluent Japanese, which is my backbone over here. I usually find good friends in the short time that I have in each city, but finding someone special takes time or heaven-defying luck. Anyway, my time in Japan is running out, so I felt like traveling to visit friends and go to places I haven't been to yet. When I traveled to Kyoto, I didn't feel like spending my evening alone, so I went out and found some cool people to drink with. Later that night, I went to a nearby club because just a few drinks just wasn't enough. After entering the club, I felt it was a big mistake. There were at most 10 people there. More people came later. But being the simple man I am, I just thought, well, I already paid and there are drinks here. Isn't all that bad. I went on with my night dancing with some girls at the front and drinking with the guys in the back. I stayed until the club closed and noticed a girl I danced with earlier was still around. I called out to her and asked what her plan was. She openly told me she lived a little far away and had to take the first train, which starts running about 6 a.m. home. After a quick conversation, we soon found out we could walk together for a while before I had to take a turn towards my hotel. We started walking after bidding farewell to a few guys we had hung out with in the club. It didn't take long before we really hit it off. We spoke nonstop for a good 15 minutes before we got to my turn, but just stopped and stayed at the crossroad for like 5 minutes more just talking. I had really come to love this little woman in front of me and asked her if we could take the long way home. She gave a short answer and a kind smile before we got going. My eyes didn't leave her for a moment, or so I'd like to think. But as a fairly articulate speaker, I speak with my whole body. We figured we'd get to our destination quickly if we kept going, so we soon found a McDonald's to sit down in. It was 5 a.m., and only like one other guest there at the time. As we ate our breakfast, we didn't stop talking. After being lonely for so long, I was almost shaking out of happiness. Her warm gaze, her cute giggles, her reaction in response to our current topic. It was all, even though this was a cold night, it was filled with warmth. I finally gathered my courage and held her hand. She got a little flustered and blushed and asked what I was doing. I just ignored her question and said, "Your hands, they're cold." Giving a slight nod, she met my gaze once again. Oh, at this point, I should probably inform you that I am 21 and she is 30. She said herself in a small voice, "What am I doing? Getting comforted by a younger man," which I heard as I dragged her closer to me. At this point, she also said, "I don't mind touching." Touching is a no-go in Japan. Only really close friends or lovers do break this weird rule. Thinking about this sentence by itself, it can sound or make my mind drown in fantasies, but as I was holding her, I only felt a strong desire to embrace her. My lonely self just wanted to borrow her caring warmth while I shared my physical warmth. After spending close to 50 minutes at McDonald's, we started walking to the station again. The station that was originally 30 minutes away was now 2 hours later, 15 minutes away. As we got going, I was still holding her hand, only letting go when necessary. As we were walking and shivering in the cold, she suddenly said, "We could stop and warm up in the convenience stores," which I felt was her way of not freezing and wanting to spend more time with me. As we walked hand in hand, we kept on talking. We sometimes stopped just embracing each other or heating up in the convenience stores. 3 hours after the club closed, we were sad, but finally reached the station. We spent our last minutes embraced in each other's warmth. After we said goodbye, I felt lonely, but also more confident and special than ever. Now that I've reached the end of my cliché love story, one night's love, I will inform you she was engaged, planning to marry in the near future. Damn, a guy will feel special when he can get to fill an engaged woman's heart for a night. Story 16. Once we become men, and I mean men, not guys, we want to be there to provide moral, physical, financial, and emotional support to our partner and our children. All that giving can take a toll on us, but a simple "I support you" from our partner can provide a huge boost. About 8 years ago, I was applying for a highly sought-after job in another country. I had recently gotten married. My wife, seeing the amount of constant stress I was going through, fear of failure and of letting her down, just told me simply, "Whatever happens, I support you." That gave me a huge confidence boost, and even though I didn't get that job, I got an even better one just 7 months later. Another good example of this happened 3 years ago. I had used a carpooling app, quite popular in Europe, for an 8-hour drive, and one of my passengers was this amazing woman. I'm a good driver, so usually my passengers fall asleep on such long drives, but this time, we spent the entire 8 hours talking. At one point she, 25, was telling me about how she supported her ex-boyfriend, 45, but telling him not to worry about her but to go and seize the opportunity that came up in his life, some sort of business opportunity, that she'll be there for him. To quote her, "It's your time to shine, so go and shine. I'll be waiting for you." Don't know how he took it, but if I were him, I would have felt, in that moment, that nothing can stand in my way. P.S. They broke up because of him. He used to be a player, and that was a hard habit to get rid of. However, he must have had noticed her true value when she was gone, so he was trying to win her back. Well, if you like these stories, here's more. YouTube thinks you're going to love this. Catch you in that video.